Honorable members, Minister Manikchan, this school bell is very popular, and we now have a list of MPs who are volunteering to ring this bell so we can get a quorum. This is serious. So if you want to come on the list to ring the bell, please. We're not talking about in the ring. We're talking about ringing the bell. We will, we will, the House will resolve itself into committee to continue consideration of the estimates. And I'd now like to invite the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, the Honorable Onesh Walron, and her team to take us through Agency 23, the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce. And I invite you to turn to pages 150 and 151. Honorable members, I now propose the question that the sum stated for Program 23, Agency 23, Program 231, Policy Development and Administration. Honorable Member, Mr. Sears.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. To the Honorable Minister, with regards to account 6116, contracted employees, we see a slight increase here of from last year to this year. Could the Honorable Member share if there's an increase in contracted employees and what positions are these?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Member, for your question. 6116, this increase caters for the additional staff, 1 EPMA, that's the Policy Planning Unit.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much,
Member.
Minister Walron. Coming down to the bottom there, 6251, maintenance of road. Could the Honorable Minister share which road is being maintained?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, this caters for the repairing and maintenance of the internal road at the NEC compound. As you're aware, Mr. Chair, that the NEC compound is where we host our Guy Expo and other similar national events.
Thank you, Minister. MP Sears.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. With regards to the local, that's 6261, local travel and subsistence. Local travel and subsistence. Could the Honorable Member share with these local travels, if this is an intent to expand the domestic tourism, or this has to do with some other objective under the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce?
Honorable Minister.
So, Mr. Chair, the travel and subsistence caters for, in addition to travel in relation to tourism, it's in relation to the other kinds of engagements and mandate of the ministry, which is commerce and industry. So it's in addition to other tourism related outreaches.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I would just like to turn our attention to 6281 Security Services. Just for the record, could the Honorable Minister mention or share with us which security firm is contracted through this line item?
Minister?
Mr. Chair, there is the NELS Global Security Service.
MP?
If I may, Mr. Speaker, I know I might be jumping it a little bit, but just so I don't have to ask this question again, is this the sole contractor to the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, or do you have other security firms attached?
Minister?
The NELS Global is for three of our locations. We have about 9 other locations, which includes industrial parks. So it's just 3 out of 9 or so of our locations that NEL is being used for.
MP?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and Honorable Minister. With regards to, let's just turn our attention really quick to national and other events, 6291. We note an increase from last year's allocation to this year. Could the Honorable Minister share with us what constitutes the increase and what is the largest budgetary allocation for an event, for a national event?
Minister?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The increase caters for additional expos and the regional food festival. We're introducing also a cultural week during Tourism Awareness Month. So it's catering for more of these activities. What we find, Mr. Speaker, as you can see, when we have had our regional food festivals. These have really gained in popularity. When we do our Christmas villages, more people are coming out. We realize that this is really has been so popular, and people have lauded it. We have given opportunities for small businesses and small vendors to go out in these when we have these food festivals and other kinds of festivals. So we want to expand and come and build on these activities, especially the ones on Main Street.
Just a quick follow-up to this question, Mr. Speaker. With the introduction of the Global Super League, Madam Minister, with the introduction of the Global Super League last year, is there any allocation for that event or during the period?
Minister?
Mr. Chair, thank you. The Global Super League is not an activity that is under this line item, national not events. The honorable member did ask what was the largest allocation for under this line item, and it would be the allocation for the Japan Expo 2025, which is a every 4 years we have these international expos, and Guyana will be participating. If you recall, 4 years ago, we participated in the Dubai Expo, and this allocation, largest allocation is for participation in the Japan Expo this year.
MP?
I'm happy to hear that. Honorable Minister, with regards to the Japan Expo, what is the criteria and who's the target audience, not target participants for this expo?
Well, it's the world. It's Mr. Chair. It's over 150 countries will be participating in the Japan Expo. So the target audience is putting Guyana on a global stage as it relates to tourism. We also use this opportunity to advertise, to promote Guyana's investment opportunities. We use our booth for that. So and the program, the expo runs for about 6 months. So it's major exposure for Guyana at this point.
Thank you very
MP?
much, Honorable Minister. I think my question was somewhat misinterpreted between the participants and the audience. In terms of participants or representatives from Guyana heading to the expo, what is the criteria and who is the target participants or the persons who are going to be representing Guyana?
MP, Minister?
Yes, please, Mr. Chair. The participants, so we have a very small team that is headed by the National Exhibition Center, they are responsible for our events, and the Guyana Tourism Authority. It's going to be the Guyana Office for Investment, as well as I mentioned, our investment opportunities, using the booth for that opportunity as well. 2 members from the Go Invest will be attending, and 4 members from the Ministry of Tourism, GTA, our planning committee. It's the same group that plans all of our events, which is the exhibitions or food festivals. All of these events that you're seeing are getting glowing reviews. That team, that group of people, they're the ones that will be going. We also have what we took the opportunity to do a national day in Japan. That will be just for one day, where we display, have a cultural display, and we're taking a team from of artists, local artists. Japan has indicated what number of persons they will allow that they will be sponsoring, and so we have a team that will be going there to have a concert, a cultural display. And so those members, but they will just be staying for about 3 or 4 days.
MP? Honorable Member, Ms. Hughes.
Thank you very much. I wanted to go to volume 2. And of course, on page 126, under the performance statements, one of your strategies is to develop and coordinate the implementation of reforms with regard to the ease of doing business. And of course, you have under your impacts ease of doing business again. And I'm wondering if you can give us an update on the single windows program and how we are in terms of achieving those targets, which I know directly impacts on that.
Minister?
The ease of doing the single windows project, we will be going live on the next month. We have already gone live on the 20th, please. We have 2 agencies. We're starting off slowly. 2 agencies are currently on the platform that we're doing a trial run before we add all the agencies, and of course, looking at where gaps are. And so the technical team has been working on that with the 2 agencies. So we have begun a gradual deployment of the single windows, but it is live, has been live since the 20th.
Honorable members, I now put the question that the sum stated for
Speaker,
I have my mic.
MP Finance.
thank you, sir. Looking at the same volume 2 on page 126, I am at indicator number 6. It says the percentage change in the nominal value of domestic credit to the private sector in 2024 is 18%. Target for 2025 is 18% also. I'm asking, can the Honorable Minister say how many individuals and or businesses does this percentage represent? That's my first question.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Being told that this indicator is a national indicator and only the banks will have access to that information.
MP Finance.
Thank you. Could the Honorable Minister say what informed that number being placed in the volume two? Because once it's placed here, we should have data to back up the percentage.
Honorable Minister.
Just a minute, please, Mr. Chair. The
MP Finance.
Page 126, if the page is indicator number 6, page 126, volume 2.
Mr. Chair, I'm advised that the domestic credit to the private sector, the value of it is indicated in percentage, and so it is said it's 18% of what? The annual increase is 18%.
Thank you, sir. Yes, that is indicated here, Mr. Chair. But Mr. Chair, I'm asking specifically, the 18% either represents businesses or private sector individuals that would have received these credits. It would have come from various financial institutions. I'm asking, what does 18% represent in the terms of a number? How many persons or businesses actually access these finances, and what institutions they were accessed from?
Minister.
So yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So private sector, not individuals will be a separate category. Private sector will imply and means companies, these are, Mr. Chair, and these are all accessed from commercial banks.
MP Finance.
Thank you. On the very same item, can the minister disaggregate the small, medium, and large-scale businesses that access, how many small business, how many medium scale, or how many large business actually account for the 18%?
Minister.
Mr. Chair, we will get this information and lay it over, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Honorable members, I now put the question that the sum stated for Agency 23, Program 231, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, we will continue with the current. Let's go to page 152 and 153. And I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 23, Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Program 212, Business Development, Support and Promotion. Current expenditure stands part of the estimates. The honorable member, Mr. Sears.
Thank you very much, sir. If we can turn to account 6283, sorry, that would be 6284, other. Could the honorable member share what this constitutes?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Other would include industrial development. This is a publication of expression of interest for industrial land, publications of invitation to bid for construction works, publication for security service, rental of skip bins for industrial estate at collagen, procurement of consultancy services to implement the export readiness program, and other kinds of procurement of graphic design services for promotional material, posting of services at the Ghana Trade Help Desk portal and the price analysis database, caters for uniforms for the scrap metal officers who are conducting monitoring duties.
Thank you, Minister. MP?
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. If there's no follow-up on that, I would just like to go down a little bit at 6302, training, including scholarships. Could the Honorable Minister share with us if these scholarships only apply to staff?
Minister?
No, they on this line item, the scholarships does not include staff. This is specifically targeted for the businesses that we will be identifying and working with in the various regions.
Okay, and where will these training be conducted, and what training will these be?
Minister?
So for this year, we continue with our training, and we'll be catering for 250 businesses to be trained. The last year we trained 169. So there'll be 50 participants in region 6 and 10. They'll be trained in supply chain management. Then for 40 participants in region 7 and 9, they'll be trained in financial literacy. Customer service training for 20 participants in region 8. Leveraging technology for 40 participants in regions 2 and 3. And virtual trainings will be targeting participants across all regions will be done in areas for including systems management, communication, supervisory management, and marketing.
MP?
And who will be conducting the training?
So these trainings are conducted by different consultants. As we are about to embark on the training, we'll send out expressions of interest invite bids for individuals in the respective capacities and areas.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Honorable members? Honorable member misuse.
Thank you. Going again to volume 2, I notice that, of course, your objective is to foster business development. Indicator 5 has the number of small businesses that receive loans and grants, and it's gone from 123, and your target is 2,182. But when we look at the subsidy has moved from 331 to 335. So I'm just trying to understand, how are you going to fund it?
Minister?
The 331 that you mentioned, on, Mr. Chair, thank the honorable member for the question, is from recurrent. If you're, I think that you're speaking of the grant program, that is coming, that comes from the capital.
Honorable members,
Yes, Mr. Speaker, just a quick
Honorable
follow-up.
member, Mr. Sears.
Follow up. Is the honorable minister saying that the the funding is sufficient to raise the number from 123 to the target in 2025 to 2,182? Is the fund sufficient?
Minister,
So, yeah, the short answer is yes, Mr. Chair. The ministry, in keeping with the Small Business Act, which provides that the the Small Business Development Fund will provide for support and access to financing for small businesses. So the ministry has taken a policy direction to move away from a traditional small grant-based system towards a more strategic community development engagement project. So we've identified several small businesses in various communities to get access, better access to financing and support in a way in which that encourages growth and their ultimate sustainability.
My final follow-up question
go
on
ahead,
this.
MP.
Um, in terms of allocation, you would have mentioned that it's strategic. How much percent out of this amount, this targeted amount, is geared towards ecotourism businesses?
Minister,
This is out of our Small Business Development Fund, and ecotourism has not been targeted. This targets our agriculture and agro-processing sector. Ecotourism will probably be considered on the next cycle.
thank you, Minister. MPUs,
Thank you. So I was wondering whether, again, we're looking at your objectives in volume 2, whether you had any plans to promote our local products overseas. And if that specifically, how would it be funded? And I know when you go on a trade fair, you kind of take a couple samples, but anything more substantial that might come out of course, your objective to foster business development.
Minister,
I thank the honorable member for the question. We do have at the ministry, we've developed the export readiness program, and this will be doing that. This strategic to indeed target and focus on strengthening the capacity of our local businesses to access international markets. It will be aimed at improving the knowledge and skills and of our small and medium-sized enterprises to successfully export their services. So this program is geared on preparing businesses for the export markets by offering practical guidance on market entry strategies and export compliance and product standards and international marketing, to name a few.
thank you, Minister. MPUs,
Thank you for that answer. And I want to go to 6255. And we notice that's maintenance of other infrastructure. And I'm just wondering whether there was a specific new infrastructure that was being covered under that, since the cost has increased almost 100%.
Minister,
Yes, yes, please, Mr. Chair. This increase caters for additional weeding and cleaning. And last year, we only had 4 locations we were maintaining, where this year we'll be maintaining 9 locations, hence the reason for the increase.
Thanks, Minister. MPUs.
Could we ask briefly where those 9 locations are or what they are?
You may recall, Mr. Chair, that we've built 2 additional call centers and the one other location is the chip factory.
Thank you, MP.
6242, maintenance of buildings. Again, if you could explain which buildings are maintained under that category, and we've seen a large increase too, so just to get an idea of which ones.
Minister.
Right. So this, Mr. Chair, the increase caters for the maintenance of 5 buildings that were not catered for in 2024. So these buildings include the Belvedere Business Incubator, Lethem Business Incubator, the Collagen Estate Office Building, which is a new building, and the Tushan and Elmore call centers.
Honourable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency 23, Program 232, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honourable members, we have allocated 1.5 hours for this head, and a half an hour for this head. We are now just 2 minutes over that time. I will allow another question on another head if you have. If not, I'll put the remaining heads. We can go to 154, 155, or cap. Tell me which one you want, Devin.
Yeah, we take the
Which one of the capitals? Which program? Which?
Ganesh. You go first, please.
MP
We do
Finance?
program 2, business development support and promotion, if that's okay.
Which page are we on? 501.
Looking at volume 2, 128.
Honourable members, I propose a question that the sum stated for Agency 23, Program 231, 232, Capital Expenditure, stands part of the estimates. The Honourable Member, Mr. Lance.
Thank you, sir. The Honorable Minister, a few minutes ago, responded when it comes to indicator number 5, the number of small business that receives loans and grant from the Small Business Bureau. She referred to the capital expenditure that is going to the Small Business Development Fund. That amount moved in 2024 from 450 million to 2025, 600 million allocation there. 2024, we had 123 persons receiving from that amount. And on average, that would give you 3.6 million per recipient. But now we're moving to a target in 2025 of 2,182 recipients. And with the amount of $600 million, that would give you an average of $275,000 on average. So I'm asking the Honorable Minister, what exactly is informing this number, this 2,182, are you specifically targeting a different type of business? And because the allocation there is 600 million for 2025, could you give the House a little bit of explanation as to how we're moving from 123 to 2,182 recipients when we're only moving from 450 million to 600 million?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, as I mentioned, have changed focus from the dispensing of the small business, small grants, and moving towards the strategic community development projects. So it's providing small businesses to come together in different areas. And so the small business team went out to the different communities, done the research on the ground, and we have and they have indicated, as I have indicated, to foster entrepreneurship, to create jobs in these communities, to boost the local economies. Right, rather than giving out grants, we've identified different projects. So in different communities, there might be prawns farming, hydroponics, cashew nut farming, several shade houses across the different communities. And so this is to ensure that the small businesses are involved in community projects, community entrepreneurship, and they are integral part of the local community to boost it. And we will be providing the necessary resources to support these initiatives.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable
for-
Member, Ms. Finance.
Thank you, sir. Sir, could the honorable minister say, based on that explanation, you said, for example, you said ponds farming. Could you say how, because we're looking at the number 2,182, if you were saying that that's the amount of small businesses that will receive from this 600 million, how many, the categories that you have just went through cannot cater for 2,182 small business? So are you saying that you are looking at individuals that would be employed within each of these individual sectors, small business sectors, and that's how you get into that number of over 2,000?
Minister.
Mr. Chair, 2,000, that number was when the focus was on the disbursement of grants. Now that the focus has changed, that number not longer applies. But Mr. Chair, with this new focus and this project developments, it will be the access and the impact will be way beyond the impact as it would be for grants of 200,000 being dispensed to 2,000 individual persons.
Thanks, Minister.
So just my final question on this, sir. Could the honorable minister just confirm that now they have moved from actually giving small businesses the loans and grants, like she just said, to giving individuals a 200,000 grant? And if so, how are these persons being identified within the various communities?
Honorable Minister, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think the honorable member doesn't. I think she's missing the point. It is no longer identifying individuals. So, for instance, please, Mr. Speaker, in Oriala, where there is a aquaculture, there are farmers, people doing the interest that has been indicated by the community is that they would like to get into the aquaculture. They're in Maracaibo. They're interested in having shade houses where they grow value-added crops. In Camarang, 10 farmers have indicated that they would like to get into the solar aquaculture. So every community, it is geared towards the needs and what the community has requested. And out of these, there's going to be jobs are going to be created For instance, in Oriala, it's estimated a good amount of 20 jobs will be created. In Maracabay, an additional 20. So these projects, that is what is geared to, for the community to, in addition to fostering entrepreneurship, create jobs and to ultimately lend to sustainability of the community and entrepreneurship in the specific communities. It's targeted and based on the additional in individual communities.
Minister, I think I'm suffering from a senior moment. Didn't you say similarly for the previous answer that your people went out in the community, you changed the focus, and now you're dealing with community business projects? All you're doing now is identifying specific communities you went to, right? I'm just trying to ensure I didn't hear wrong or I wasn't suffering a senior lapse. Honorable member misuse.
No.
Honorable members, I'll have to now put the question because we're almost 11 minutes over, right? Honorable members, I put the question, I'll have to put all of the remaining heads, and these pertain to Agency 23. Agency 23, Program 233, Current and Capital. Agency 23, Program 234, Current and Capital. Program 231, Capital. Program 232, Capital. And that covers all of it. And I put the question that the sums stated herein stand part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stand part of the estimates. Thank you very much, Minister, and your team for taking us through your agency.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, may I just take this opportunity to thank my entire team, the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, for all of their hard work and their support.
Thank you, Minister, and your team. Honorable members, let us prepare for the Ministry of Natural Resources, the Honorable Vikram Bharat and his team. And I invite you to turn to pages 162 and 163. We will take all the current and then take all the capital. And we have an hour and 30 minutes. Honourable members, I now propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 26, Ministry of Natural Resources, Program 261, Policy Development and Administration Current Expenditure, stands part of the estimates. The honourable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency 23, Program 261, Current Expenditure, stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Let's go to pages 164 and 165. And I propose the question that the sum stated for program 264, same agency, sorry, 262, same agency, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Honorable member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you, sir. 6284. Could the Honorable Minister disaggregate that? Uh, well, when he finished, I'll ask a follow-up question.
Minister,
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and let me thank the honorable member for the query with regards to 6284 other under 262. Mr. Chair, there's an allocation of 1,045,000. The breakdown is to continue the reclamation and reforestation project, an allocation of $300 million. To continue the mineral mapping project, $735 million. Advertising costs, $5 million. And the review of the mining regulations in Guyana, $5 million.
thank you, Minister. Mr. Patterson.
Thank you, sir. For some reason it wasn't coming on. Sir, with regard to the reforestation, sir, last year a similar amount was allocated, sir. Can